Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever you may be tuning in. This is Yonks, and we've got a very important live stream here for Gigs Go Green. And before I hop into that, I want to say thank you. I'm joined also with Tyler, my superpower, Mrs. Yonks, and Amy and Nick. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining, everybody. And we're just going to hop right in. We've got a very important conversation here. Membership NFTs, Polygon versus Base. And we have been planning to build on Polygon for quite a while, and that goes back way even before. And we've been building on Polygon for quite a while with what we're doing here with our DAO ecosystem. And February 2024, and it may spill over a little bit into March, is functionally our launch month for Gigs Go Green. And that's going to be starting or kicked off quite literally with a Kickstarter. And that's where we're going to be launching Tesla Black, our member NFT community for Tesla Black DAO. And the conversation is the value proposition of Polygon versus Base. And one of the things that I wanted to, and the timing is really strong. And what do I mean by that? Like, for those of us that have enjoyed following Coinbase, and full disclosure here, Tyler and myself are very large Coinbase investors, and I'm not going to unpack that right now. But we do have a financial interest, and that's one of the things. And I mean, we also hold Somatic, but that's an underlying thing that's also driving this conversation is that one of the things that's very different about Base, the L2 chain that Coinbase has launched in August of 2023, is that as far as I'm aware, it's the only noteworthy L2 chain that does not have its own native token. And there's actually an open SEC case against Polygon for the question, is Matic a security? And that's one of the things that's an important consideration as far as when we're thinking about us launching a member community. One of the things that should be one of our goals is to create as seamless experience as possible for people that we're onboarding into Web3. My expectation and belief is that most of the people that will be joining our community and here during, and for lack of a better word, season one, and we're really going to describe season one as the time frame from when our Kickstarter goes live, whenever that is here in the next couple of weeks, till maybe when the Kickstarter ends. And this is something that we can have some conversation around, maybe, but not that important. But the only way that people are going to be able to join our DAO ecosystem and think about primarily this first phase is launching Tesla Black is through the Kickstarter campaign. And so one of the things that we're going to do when somebody backs our Kickstarter is that every reward on our Kickstarter campaign is going to have an NFT component, whether that's the Gigs Go Green NFT that says, hey, here's $7. I love what you guys are doing here with Gigs Go Green. I want to follow this project. And that NFT is basically going to be a newsletter. And this is something that we'll talk more about on our upcoming Kickstarter campaign. But in the meantime, one of the articles that I want to talk about, and this isn't something that I really brought back full circle, was the reason that this conversation is very timely is that Coinbase yesterday, February 15th, 2024, put forward their quarter four earnings estimates. And as you can see here, this TechCrunch article summarized it crushing quarter four estimates. And this headline of this article is also very relevant to our conversation because and I'm going to just read it here. Coinbase cites stablecoins, Base. So there's two things, stable coins and Base. Stablecoin is like USDC. We're really planning on using USDC. very heavily within what we're building here as far as like transacting within our ecosystem, and that will be yet to be seen. But like one of the main things that we're talking about is creating the opportunity for Tesla Black members to use a Tesla vehicle, a Model Y, for $200 a week for their half week. And we're really wanting that to be conducted via USDC. Let me throw this article on the live stream for everybody here real quick so that everybody has that for reference. And here is the TechCrunch.com article discussing on the live stream. And if somebody could do me a favor, I'm putting this in the Discord on Triple Win Foundation chat. If somebody could confirm that that showed up on the YouTube that I linked up at the Zoom chat, that would be absolutely fabulous. So I'm not going to unpack this article. It's a fairly short article, but as you can see in the headline, it summarizes stablecoins and Base as some key priorities. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about, and I don't know how much that people are really going to appreciate Optimism and Arbitrum. This doesn't graph the Polygon. That would be an interesting comparison as well, but whoever created this dashboard didn't incorporate the usage statistics. But what I thought was pretty interesting on here is that here, as of last week, February 5th, Base overtook Optimism on weekly transactions. And then it also on new weekly new users surpassed Optimism as well. And that's one of the things that, as I mentioned, is also a differentiator. As far as I know, Base is the only L2 chain that doesn't have a native token, and that's to mitigate these thoughts that a lot of the L2, like I mentioned that SEC has an open case against Polygon for the question, is Matic a security? But as far as the considerations when thinking about how our members will engage. So here's kind of like walking through the user journey. And this is one of the things that going to continue to talk about because we want it to be a fabulous user journey. So here during the Kickstarter, during season 1, gigs go green. The only way that people will onboard into what we're building here is through the Kickstarter campaign. And that's one of the things that the minimum way that they'll do that is $7, and that will provide an NFT. So one of the things that we will have to do that's a drawback to pivoting from Polygon over to Base, and this is some secretarial stuff, but we've already went through the process of creating the registrations for the DAOs that we're launching within this DAO ecosystem with the Wyoming Secretary of State. So that's kind of a negative thing. It would be kind of annoying. There would be some cost, maybe a couple $100 to file the paperwork for our 3 organizations. Other than that, the only other negative consideration for making the change, in my opinion, is that USDC will be slightly harder to acquire early here in 2024. And I've got another article here talking about USDC on Coinbase Wallet. I personally don't have any experience with Coinbase Wallet. This is something that I'm going to take an action item for myself. Is I'm going to download the Coinbase Wallet. And there's one of the things that will be very important in our conversations within building out our ecosystem is to make sure that we're differentiating Coinbase Wallet from Coinbase Exchange. Very different things. Coinbase Wallet, right now, we historically have been using MetaMask. That's the main, and I've got my little box guy up here. And as you can maybe see or not, I've actually got, and I'm on Base right now. I've already done some transactions and I have a little bit of ETH. And that's one of the other things that's also, I think, an advantage of Base compared to Polygon is that you don't have to have Matic for doing transactions. You actually use Ethereum, and the value proposition for this, from what I understand, the SEC has already ruled that ETH is a commodity, as in not a security. So there's not any going to be looming concerns. Is the SEC going to be going after Coinbase for doing whatever they're doing as far as running their blockchain here as an L2 chain on Ethereum? So other than that, besides on-ramping or acquiring USDC, and my expectation is that USDC, and this is one of the things, how to buy or convert to USDC with Coinbase. They've got a video here. I haven't went through this process, so I can't speak to that, but that's, again, an action item that I'm going to take. So that's my thoughts. And one of the things that we're going to do is we've got a snapshot over here for Web3 Freedom Club. And this is one of the things that we're going to take as an action item after the conclusion here. We're going to draft a proposal, and the four of us and maybe somebody else that's going to be on our board of stewards will vote on this proposal. That's not something that we've prepared for, but just to let everybody know where my stand is, I'm going to be voting for Base because I think it's a stronger value proposition. That being said, I'm going to let whomever throw in some thoughts as far as Polygon versus Base, and then go from there.
Yeah, I think, oh, go ahead.
I just have a question. When you said that Base uses Ethereum, does that mean we have to pay Ethereum gas fees?
No, it means that, because that's one of the value propositions of it's still using, I think it uses optimistic rollups, and that's one of the things that I don't completely understand from a technology standpoint as far as what goes on behind the scenes. And this is something that we, as in me, will look at doing where I can share what that looks like. Because, like, there's only going to be a couple scenarios where people are actually doing some transactions. And this is something that I would really encourage you. Like, one of the opportunities, I already talked about this a little bit before we went live, and I'll share this on the live stream for everybody. This Mint a Penny is a NFT project that, and you can see here, Coinbase Inc. So this is a project opportunity to drive usage on Base, and I'm gonna, and because I think that all that you have to do to mint this penny NFT is to pay the transaction fee. And this is something that I could probably send, like right now, I've got personally on my account 0.09 ETH. So like I could probably send both of you to make this easy to have a little bit of experience, like maybe 0.01 Ethereum, which is like $20. And this is something that's me kind of just paying it forward. I was blessed and got a couple thousand OP optimism on an optimism airdrop, and I converted some of that optimism into ETH using a bridge. So, and this is one of the things that, like, and just talking out loud here, like creating some content around, and this is one of the things that I personally want to get better at is creating and some content. But Mint a Penny is one opportunity that you could do. Stand with Crypto, and I don't know exactly what this looks like, but I think that we can mint this Stand with Crypto. Nick and I went to an in-person follow-up with people, Colorado Web3 influencers, went to Washington, D.C., and Stand with Crypto is a 501c4 that can lobby for the benefit of the crypto community that was originally started by Coinbase, but they've got enough traction where it's now an independent. And this is one of the things that Stand with Crypto is working to pass effective regulations for the benefit of crypto and Web3. So that's another thing that I would really encourage everybody that is optimistic about crypto and the opportunities of future impact is to go through the process, mint stand with crypto NFT. So did that answer your question, Amy? The transactions should be comparable from a cost standpoint as doing transactions on Polygon, but instead of using Matic, you use ETH, and it should be a lot easier to acquire ETH than it is with Matic.
Are we going to use the Coinbase wallet doing our governance?
So a good way to think of Coinbase wallet is, and this is something like MetaMask. MetaMask and Coinbase wallet are functionally a skin where like you've got your 12 words or whatever amount of words. Like if you open up a MetaMask account, it'll give you your seed phrase, 12 words. Those 12 words are your actual account. MetaMask is kind of like your skin or your wallet. You can take those 12 words into MetaMask, into Coinbase wallet, into Trust wallet, and engage with the Ethereum blockchain using your 12 words for your Ethereum wallet. Does that make sense?
So you're saying I can use my MetaMask 12 word with Coinbase wallet and with Trust wallet. It's interchangeable. I mean, you can use it.
Correct. And that's on a like if you, for example, Coinbase wallet, one of the additional functionalities that it provides is it also provides Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is a different blockchain, so in order for you to use Bitcoin wallet functionality within Coinbase wallet, you would need to have a separate seed phrase for your Bitcoin wallet. Trust Wallet has even more capabilities. And with what we're wanting to do, Amy, as you know, is we're wanting to keep it as simple as possible for people. And my expectation is at least in early 2024, it's looking like Coinbase Exchange plus Coinbase Wallet will probably be the easiest way for people to get USDC into their Coinbase wallet through their Coinbase exchange account. Does that make sense? So I don't see anybody opening their mics.
Yeah.
What's your thought? Go ahead, Amy.
Good. It's good.
Okay, cool. Over to you, Nick, on your thoughts on the whole Coinbase versus Polygon topic.
Yeah, it's a very interesting use case. I think like you're saying, both of them are going to have a reduced cost, whether we're going Polygon or we're on Coin. And I think that, with that reduced cost, the biggest thing I think is that we are going to trust, and I think a lot of other people are going to trust Coinbase, right? That is just because they are back, they're involved with the SEC. I think a lot of people are watching them, so they feel like they're already ahead of a lot of other people on the legal front. And there's still some uncertainties about Polygon. Like we believe it will, and I should just be saying I believe that it will probably be there for the long run and it'll probably be fine. But as it goes through these investigations, and a lot of people don't know who Polygon is. I mean, if you're plugged into the blockchain ecosystem, then yes, but people who are not plugged into the system, they know who Coinbase is, they know what Bitcoin is, they don't know what Polygon is. So I think that will definitely help adoption, and that's something that you showed in that graph. So I think that I am interested in understanding this ETH conversion a little bit better. I don't fully understand technically how they're doing that. If it's just ETH on a layer 2, then it's really just a different coin, and maybe the wallets are calling it ETH sometimes because it doesn't look like that. But I would envision that you still have to do something to transact and move the funds on that layer 2 to do the transactions there. Or maybe I'm just fundamentally missing something that's different about how this layer 2 works. But optimistic rollups, one thing that was mentioned earlier about optimistic rollups, those are generally where you have, a layer 2 is just taking a bunch of transactions and kind of squashing them down and putting them on a layer 1. And it's just a hash that goes on the layer 1. And that's why it's so cheap. You can fit 100, 1,000, even 1,000,000 transactions into that one hash that goes onto the main blockchain and is now proving the truth for all of those other transactions. With that said, then, how does Coinbase's layer 2 work in such a way that you could send ETH? And there are some things that are out now called account abstraction, where you can do these kinds of things where you can have somebody pay the gas for you. But it's generally very interesting how they've structured it. It's not a normal transaction that you submit to the blockchain. What you'll do is you'll interact with the service, and that service will be running a wallet that has some money that can pay for the gas. And these are called paymasters is what they call them in some of the architecture that they have now for this account abstraction stuff. And it also allows you then to recover a wallet, right? You don't even need a private key to transact, because people can handle that through their web services and send it to maybe an email address or something for you and manage that for you. And you can have an account on the blockchain with funds that is all being proven in a very similar way to how these roll-ups and these layer 2s are getting all of these transactions kind of compressed on that layer 1 chain. So it's just some different ways to look at it, but I think I have a little bit more reading to do. But I really, I think that we're going to see a big adoption of coin, and the fact that it's EVM, that makes it so that all the existing technologies, the wallets and all of these things will work very, very nicely with coin. So I don't see a lot of reason why people would resist that right now.
Yeah, and just to kind of carry that conversation, and we've had some side conversations, as you know, Nick, as far as the idea of this wallet as a service. And that's one of the things here that captures it probably most importantly is a wallet as a service is an easy and secure way to create great user experiences. And that's absolutely what we're wanting to do here, is to take some of the complications of the technology away from the end users so that we can provide meaningful benefits without them getting confused over the technology. And that's one of the things, like when you think about at the end of the day, what we're going to be creating here with Gigs Go Green is we're going to be creating the tokenization of real world assets. And when you think about also who's probably best positioned to potentially bridge traditional finance with the blockchain, I would say it's probably Coinbase, because they've already are creating those situations, like the Bitcoin ETFs that have made global news that have launched now are largely, I think I read somewhere that 8 out of the 11 Bitcoin and crypto ETFs are going to be fulfilled through and by Coinbase. So that's how much that they're incorporating within the ecosystem at large. And I believe by us being early adopters with what we're building here and working towards, because the other consideration, I mean, we've got this video thumbnail is talking about membership NFTs. That's really only one of several aspects of consideration. The other one that we've talked a little bit about here that I said is the potential drawback, that Tyler and I both believe that there will be solutions implemented sooner than later as far as mitigating some of the early concerns as far as acquiring USDC. But the other consideration is that we have immediate plans to do our regulation crowdfunding offering for the Colorado Public Benefit Cooperatives. And that's one of the things that we're expecting people to probably not buy and sell that much as far as the security token. We're really anticipating that will be more of a buy and hold dynamic, and that will just be only time will tell. But as you can imagine, like one of the goals that I have with our regulation crowdfunding offering is to onboard as many as 5,000 gig workers, maybe even more. And when you think about our regulation crowdfunding offering where we can raise up to 5 million, you break out the math on that, 5,000 gig workers that invest $1,000, that sounds like a very realistic number as far as 5,000 times 1,000 equals 5 million. And it would be a lot more difficult to make a change when our token or tokens have been distributed to thousands of people versus making that change now where there's almost zero distribution. So do you want to chime in some thoughts, Tyler? We've had a lot of side conversations on this topic.
Yeah, well, my disclaimer is I'm also a big Coinbase and a small Matic investor for the record. So the biggest thing that I think is interesting is between Coinbase being a publicly traded company and housing the custodianship for these new ETFs just came out and finally posting a profitable quarter. I think USDC for them is kind of a slam dunk. I think Base is the clear answer for a bunch of reasons, mostly because the institutional money has sort of crowned them the winner. So whether or not that's going to be a forever thing, I don't know that it really matters. It's definitely going to be for the next 1 to 2 years while we're launching and getting everybody onboarded. And this will be a pain in the ass, but if something really goes sideways and we can't use them anymore, absolute worst case scenario, we burn all the tokens and reissue them on Polygon and whatever. I mean, I don't think that's going to be an issue, but that is a possibility. This decision is not irreversible. I think Base is the right decision, but if for some reason it becomes the wrong decision, we can just fix it. So yeah, that's my thought. I think we should go Base.
Thanks for that, Tyler. And I don't know if you want to chime in some thoughts or questions here, Amy.
I have no loyalty either way. So if we have more pros than cons with Base, I'm good with it.
And from my perspective, I think that we do. And like I said, the only drawback is acquiring USDC. And my belief and expectation is it should be a better experience with a Coinbase account and the Coinbase wallet to acquire USDC. And if it's not, then that's absolutely something that I will bubble up as a concern, because the other mechanisms are not as streamlined, where you've got an exchange and a wallet that are functionally developed, not functionally, but absolutely developed by the same company. And the other thing too is, and I don't know if I have it up here, talked a little bit about the stand with crypto. Let me go ahead and put that on here on the live stream for everybody as well, because that's another opportunity to mint an NFT that I believe is a worthwhile NFT, and that's one of the things that will be interesting to see. But I don't know if this is the amount of donations that Stand with Crypto has taken in, but they'll absolutely be a strong lobbying organization there in DC for the benefit of crypto and Web3. So we've been live maybe already close to a half an hour here. And like I said, we'll get the proposal live on Snapshot, where us, the Board of Stewards, will be able to vote on this. And that's one of the things that by design that we're actually limiting right now. And as we continue to gain traction with Gigs Go Green through our upcoming Kickstarter campaign, we're going to be having more conversations about the future of governance and how that we're going to be using blockchain technology to fulfill things. And to just echo on what Tyler was saying, we really need to be positioning the blockchain as simple as possible for people, and the better that we can do just creating a polished user experience where it's not confusing. Because like, and this is something that I've really been just advocating, is when you think about governance and voting and deciding on things, most people outside of voting for a presidential election have very little experience in the day-to-day world, because most organizations whether it's a job or whatever that situation is, they don't normally give people the opportunity to actually have a say in the future direction of that organization. And that's one of the things that we're going to be architecting with Gigs Go Green, a alternative ownership enterprises with the 3 synergistic cooperatives that we're going to be launching, these synergistic cooperatives for the primary benefit of gig workers. And that's something that we'll be having more conversations about. Next one's going to be coming up here for our Kickstarter campaign. But I'm going to let everybody chime in some final thoughts before we bring a wrap to the live stream today. And like I said, I'll circulate to everybody, and we'll likely have until maybe Monday afternoon. And this is one of the things, until Monday afternoon to vote on the proposal. It should literally take like a minute to vote on the proposal with your connected wallet. And I'll probably even create maybe a snippet of content specifically about like creating the proposal. And that's one of the things that really want to get a streamlined process so that we can have a increasingly streamlined governance framework within these organizations as we work towards building these decentralized autonomous organizations. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking and let everybody chime in some thoughts before we call it a wrap here.
Sure, I can wrap up a couple of my ideas here. The wallet as a service is that you mentioned, Yonks, is something that is using account abstraction, and that is certainly going to help, I think, make it easier for people to join and participate in blockchain events. And like you said, voting, I mean, that's a very interesting use case too, where, you don't have to have a traditional wallet. You can just talk to a service, right? That's what wallet as a service is you're talking to a service, and then that service can perform the transactions for you. So if they can authenticate you and they can trust you in the kind of the old Web 2 world, now they can manage a wallet for you. Again, this is, this kind of doesn't align with the not your keys, not your crypto kind of mentality. But if you're just trying to facilitate a service, this is where I think we'll be able to leverage this to provide a much easier onboarding experience for our users and use case. And then it also makes it so that you don't have to manage keys. Some of these services do offer things called MPC or TSS. So you kind of mix these. It's multi-party computation, where my key can be shared amongst a whole bunch of people. And we can use kind of a social recovery mechanism where my friends can send me parts and we can reconstruct this wallet and this key. And now we're able to manage our keys and use this wallet as a service where I still kind of own my keys, right? So there's some very interesting technology here that I think we can leverage and make one a very safe and secure solution, but also make it easier for people to onboard. So yeah, I think all this is aligned, and we should be able to do these things no matter whether we're on Coin or we're on Polygon. But I think we already made some statements about the differences there. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, and thanks for that, Nick. One thing that I just want to echo is homework for all of us is to download the Coinbase wallet. I mentioned that I'm actually planning on downloading and then importing my seed phrase for yonks.eth so that I can really have, because like one of the other things that I'm wanting to explore is the direct messaging capabilities. And that's not even something that I'm going to unpack even more than that, but just like one of the value propositions, for example, of Coinbase wallet compared to MetaMask is Coinbase wallet supports Bitcoin and MetaMask does not. So that's an increased value proposition, because I've already mentioned to Tyler, and we've already seen Bitcoin go up like 10 or 15% just in the last 7 days, where it's been teetering here around the 51, 52,000 price point. But the opportunity to acquire and then self-custody Bitcoin. That's one of the things that we want to do, is self-custody more Bitcoin in 2024, because we're expecting it to reach new all-time highs in 2024 and 2025. And that's a very shared, strong sentiment across financial analysts, especially with the Bitcoin halving in 2024, right around the corner in April. So that's another pro of using Coinbase Wallet. So that's some homework for all of us, and some of the other homework that I may even create some content I shared on the live stream, the mintapinny.xyz and the standwithcrypto.org /donate, where you can mint, I think, an NFT with the Stand with Crypto. But anyway, I'm gonna go back on mute and let Tyler or Amy chime in some final thoughts. If I don't see a mic open, we'll bring this to a close.
I'm good. This is a good conversation. I think we're all kind of agreed on base. I know we vote on it, but
formalities of running a DAO, wanting to check the cross the T's and dot the I's, if you will. But I saw Amy open up her mic. Did you have any other thoughts, Tyler?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I just want to say good night, everyone.
Well, thank you, and have a fun and safe weekend, everybody. And like I said, when I get the I'll create a Google Docs where we can put in some thoughts on the proposal, and then once everybody's good on that, we'll get that submitted to Snapshot, where we can do our official vote on that, and then we can move this, and then move the conversations along to launch Gigs Go Green here in quarter one of 2024.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys. Good night.